Hello, today I want to share with you some really insider information, and that information is my personal budget, what I'm actually spending while I'm financially independent. Now, I'm still early on in my financial independence journey, and this budget is definitely subject to change, but I just want to share with you what my annual spending is, at least what my annual goal spending is. And the short answer is that my F.I.R.E budget, my initial F.I.R.E budget, is only $24,000 per year. Now, if you live in a high cost of living area, you might be saying to yourself, what the heck, how is this even possible? But I assure you, it is very possible, and so far it has been working pretty well. So my budget is broken down into 6 very distinct categories. Okay, so it's pretty solid in the way that it is structured, but it's not like super rigid, as in like I have, this small category has this amount and you can't go over this amount or anything like that. So the way it is designed, it's designed to be like just major categories, and then you have spending within those major categories, and that's kind of just the overall goal. And then I also approach it with like a flexible dieting I also approach it with like a flexible budget. So it doesn't really matter too much how much money gets spent in each category. What really matters is the overall annual spending. And for now, my overall annual spending is pretty low. It is $24,000 per year, and that should be about $2,000 per month. Now, the first category that I have is the most expensive categories, and actually I have 3 that are about the same, and they're gonna be at $6,000 per year, so about $500 per month. Those categories are 1, travel, 2, entertainment. That includes for me and my wife. So entertainment at $500 per month between 2 of us, so about $250 each per month. And then the third one is going to be a pretty general category, and that is just bills and utilities. So anything that pretty much is going to be recurring, it's going to just pretty much, it has to happen, it has to get paid for the most part. Those are anything like your auto insurance, home insurance. It's going to be things like your utilities, electricity, water, sewer, anything like that. So anything that is pretty much a recurring expense that pretty much occurs, monthly, quarterly, or annually, and it's kind of just like a required bill, that's going to fit into that category. And that is also $6,000 per year or $500 per month. My next highest category is for groceries. Now, more specifically, groceries are going to be at $300 per month between the 2 of us, and so that's going to be $3,600 per year. Any kind of eating out, like at restaurants and things like that, that's going to fall under entertainment. So what you're going to see is that in the way I structure my budget is, if it's not on this list, it's going to pretty much fall under entertainment. It's going to be discretionary. It's going to be whatever I want to spend my money on. So that's why the entertainment fund, it's kind of like an all-encompassing. It covers everything that's not covered here. And then the last 2 smaller categories are going to be home and auto, and those are going to be at $100 per month. That's going to cover very small and basic things like basic maintenance and things like that. If it's something that I want, like, let's say I want a decoration or something like that, it's going to fall under entertainment. It's not going to fall under home. So the home budget at $100 per month is only for maintenance and minor repairs and things like that. Obviously, that's not going to cover like major repairs or major like appliance replacements and things like that, but that's what that is meant to be. And then the same thing is for auto. So that auto is going to encompass like for gas for the car, it's going to encompass basic maintenance, basic repairs and things like that. But of course, nothing major. Like if the car gets totaled in the accident, obviously $100 per month is not going to replace the car. So that's just to cover the basics. And if you add all of those up together, it's going to add up to $24,000 per year. Now you might be looking at these numbers and you might be wondering, like, how the heck is this even possible? Like, how are they so low? Like, how do I make it so low? And obviously the answer to that is going to be long and in depth. There's so many different things that go into it, but basically how I overall come to such a low annual spending, or at least a low annual budget spending, like what I intend to spend, is mainly based on because I have a paid off house, and so I don't have any mortgage, or I don't have any rent to pay. I have a paid off car. I don't have a car loan to pay, so that substantially reduces things. It's actually a used car that has good gas mileage, and it is pretty reliable. So nothing crazy going on there. And also, I actually geographic arbitraged. I moved to a very low cost of living area within the United States, within the southeastern part of the United States, within Tennessee, the state of Tennessee. And so that drastically reduced the amount of expenses that I have, because everything is cheaper in a low cost of living area. Literally everything. Like, I went from paying, let's say, for example, $250 per year just to register my car when I lived in Southern California to now only having to pay $30 per year to register my car in the state of Tennessee where I'm at. And that's just one small example of everything just goes down. Like electricity rates are half of what they were before, and it's pretty crazy how low your expenses can go if you're able to take advantage of geographic arbitrage. If you already have financial independence and you already have the money to supply yourself, rather than having to rely on a job. Because if I got a job in a low cost of living area, then the wages are going to be much lower. They're going to be enough maybe to pay to live in that area, but they're not going to be enough, broadly speaking. It's not going to be a lot, broadly speaking. And so that geographic arbitrage, already having that money available, that's what makes living in such a low cost of living area so possible. Now next, I kind of want to break down these categories. So I mentioned how much they were approximately, but I kind of want to do a little breakdown of what they encompass. So the first one that I mentioned was travel, and travel is at $6,000 per year, or approximately $500 per month. Now I don't travel every single month, so if you average it out to $500 per month, yes, it would be $500 per month, but I don't spend $500 per month on traveling. I don't travel every single month. So the overall goal there is $6,000 per year, and that's plenty enough for me to take a few trips per year, 3 or 4 trips per year, depending on where I'm going. I can even travel internationally on that. So, and the best thing about being financially independent is that you get to buy in those off-peak seasons. You get to get the best tickets because you have flexibility, for when it comes to like airline tickets. When it comes to renting a car, you get to get the best prices because you can shop around. Your dates aren't fixed. And so, operating on $6,000 per year of a travel budget is pretty easy. Plus, in addition to that, I use credit cards bonuses. So initial bonuses, I get a few of those every year, and those substantially reduce my travel costs because each credit card I get usually is maybe around $1,000 worth of travel, and so that's another $1,000 free travel per credit card that I get per year, and so that substantially lets me travel on such a low budget. And just like with travel, my entertainment, a very broad category, but the entertainment fund is at $500 per month. This tends to be a little more averaged to $500 per month. That's about what I spend. Some months obviously I do spend a little bit more than that, and then I make up for it a little bit later. So typically what happens with entertainment is that at the beginning of the year you spend a little bit more, but then towards the end of the year I kind of have to taper off a little bit if I've spent too much in the beginning of the year. But as long as it pretty much averages out to be about $6,000 per year, it's no problem at all. And it's pretty easy to do with entertainment, especially because a lot of my hobbies and interests don't really require that much money up front or to be spent. So some of my hobbies like hiking and camping, fishing, anything pretty much outdoors, doing anything outdoors. A lot of my hobbies, they're not really that expensive. So that entertainment fund, it is all encompassing. It pretty much covers everything that's not already covered on this budget. And it works out pretty well for me. Next up, the other one that was also $500 per month or $6,000 per year was bills and utilities. Now, there's a lot of things that go into bills and utilities, and I think this is one of the best things that makes it possible to live on such a low income is if you can get these fixed expenses to be very, very low. Now, moving to a low cost of living area definitely has helped me with that. But also, there's some things that pretty much everyone can do in order to reduce their fixed expenses. And I think that's where most people should start when they're trying to get their budget to a low level without sacrificing, any of their quality of life. So let me list off really quick for you what is encompassed in my bills and utilities budget. So currently right now, I have an estimate of about $150 per month for my electricity bill, $110 per month for my cell phone bill, water, sewer, and trash around $60 per month. My internet is about $50 per month. Then I have county property taxes, save about $35 per month. City property taxes, about $30 per month. Home insurance, $28 per month. My gym membership, only $27 per month. And I have umbrella insurance at $10 per month. Now that works out to be a perfect $500 per month. Now, of course, the numbers aren't perfectly rounded like that. This is just an overall budget, just an overall kind of goal of what I'm shooting for. But for the most part, living in a low cost of living area and getting my expenses down to that low, it's been actually pretty easy. And now that it's already that low, it's very easy to maintain. I'm already used to the lifestyle that it has. And especially getting those fixed expenses low, I think is one of the biggest contributors to being able to become financially independent. And then next up for me, a slightly lower budget, a slightly lower monthly spending is going to be my food and dining, or more specifically for my groceries. And that is budgeted at around $300 per month. Now, I usually go over this towards the end of the year, but that's okay because I use flexible budgeting. And so if I have less spending in another category, I can just take a little bit of that and contribute it more to the groceries. And the way that I get, groceries to be so low is mainly because I just simply shop at somewhere where it's low cost to shop at. For the most part, I shop at either Aldi or at Walmart Neighborhood Market. So those are my two main stores that I go to get my groceries because, well, both of them have high quality goods and they have really low prices. It's really worked out for me, $300 per month. Next up, my next category is only $100 per month, and that is for like basic home repair, basic home maintenance. This includes anything that is pretty much really small. You know, this includes things like for the hot water heater. The hot water heater has this rod inside of it that needs to be replaced like every 2 years or something like that. So buying one of those rods and replacing it yourself is around $25, $30, you know, depending on what kind you get. There's some other basic maintenance, you know, that pretty much mostly how I make this only to be $100 per month is that pretty much I do most of the things myself. Anything around the house, you know, done my research and looked up what kind of things I need to do in order to maintain my home and make things last a lot longer. And I do those things on a fairly regular scheduled basis. And so far that has led me to be able to have only $100 per month for my budget when it comes to my home. Now, of course, this doesn't account for everything. If there is a major like appliance break or a major repair that needs to be done, you know, that $100 per month budget is probably not going to cover it. And so really in the long term, my housing expenses, my housing maintenance and repairs is going to be more than $100 per month. I do realize that. And so therefore sometimes, you know, some years my budget is going to go over $24,000 per year because of those major repairs that need to be done. And I am okay with that, and I do realize that. But just for the basic stuff, I am covered with my house at about $100 per month if I'm mostly doing things myself and if I'm mostly just focused on maintaining everything, and so it lasts as long as it can. And similar to that, the last category that I have in this budget is auto and transport, and that just covers my one car. So I have one vehicle. It's a 2011 Toyota Prius. I bought it used a little bit more than 4 years ago, and so far I have, thankfully at least, I've had no major repairs that need to be done. You know, all the basic maintenance and including gas every single month can be covered with about $100 per month. Now, of course, I don't spend $100 evenly per month. The major overall goal is about $1,200 per year, and so far that has actually worked out pretty darn well. And actually, usually I spend less than $1,000 per year on all the basic maintenance and repairs that need to be done on the Prius. And so $100 per month pretty much does have me covered there. And just like with the house, if there is a major repair that needs to be done, or if I have to replace the vehicle, which I will unfortunately eventually, that's not going to cover it. You know, the $100 per month is probably not going to cover that, and so that doesn't encompass that. So overall, while my budget works in theory, it doesn't cover everything. And of course, you can never really cover everything. You can never really account for every single thing, and that is okay. You know, life is not constant. Life is not something that is going to be 100% planned out all the time, and that's definitely okay. And by the way, if you're liking this video so far, please make sure you like it, give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. And hopefully you enjoy getting a little bit more insight into my personal, you know, my personal affairs, my personal budget, and hopefully that could help you with your own budget, with your own investing, with your own financial independence journey. One of the best things that you can do if you're not already is just to simply start tracking your finances, just to see where you're going. If you have not already have a system for tracking, you know, where you're spending your money, what I personally like to use is I like to use Personal Capital. Personal Capital, especially for tracking my investments. So go to oncashflow.com/resources if you haven't already, and check out Personal Capital on that page. Click through to that. They are an affiliate of mine, which means that if you do click through and you use their service, I could possibly get a commission, and it does really help me out, and I really do appreciate that. It doesn't cost you anything in order to use their free online software. So give it a shot. Try tracking your finances if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Zach from oncashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time.